Every molecule of his being is anti-comedy.
Whew! The chapters on Steven Seagal. Wow. I mean, like, here's a guy who was what he was off-screen, on-screen, by all accounts. And, like, I mean, I'd never heard the story that's in the book about how he actually got into, like, Hollywood in the first place, this confidence trick at the studio.
It's absolutely wild. I mean, and because you can see in the book, like everyone else's story, they're especially Van Damme, but even Stallone and Schwarzenegger, they are hustling and they are taking small parts in things and they're working really hard. Seagal just walks into his first film is a vehicle built around him based on his life, or apparently his life. But he was just unbelievable guy to write about, and he's kind of, I guess, sort of, the villain of the book. Like, but I genuinely tried to find good stories about him from people, but everyone I spoke to, they didn't really have any. But the stories about him are unbelievable. Like he would claim that he was on, even years into his movie star career, he would claim he had, been on secret missions, or he would I spoke to the writers of Executive Decision, and he came in one Monday, and they said, "What have you been up to at the weekend?" He said, "I can't tell you; it's classified." So he's just kind of an unbelievable, and he kind of blurs the lines between his characters and his real life, and I guess he did that deliberately. But he's quite a character.
Yeah, I went down something of a rabbit hole because I think a lot of it has been stripped from the internet. I think you might even mention that in the book, but like his infamous SNL, Saturday Night Live performance, the stuff that's still online is just, you're like, this is madness. It's insanity.
It truly is. I mean, I've seen, fortunate or unfortunate enough to have seen the whole episode of that SNL, which is renowned as the worst one. And Nicolas Cage did a skit a few years on with Lorne Michaels saying, "Oh, I'm the worst person ever to come on." He goes, "No, it's Seagal." So it's like, I think he remains just a man who every molecule of his being is anti-comedy, coming in and, nobody could get him to be funny, and he refused to be funny. And I think his ego was so monstrous, he was incapable of making fun of himself. So it was a horrible week for all concerned, by all accounts.
I will say, reading the book poses a bit of a problem, because you read about Seagal in the book and you're like, oh, man. And then you watch Under Siege and you're like, God damn, it's still good. It's still a good movie. And you've got to do this sort of weird disassociation where you're like, forget, even though it is just Seagal being Seagal on screen, this is a movie. This is like, it's a compartmentalizer.
It's a fantastic movie. And a lot of that's got to do with Tommy Lee Jones. Gary Busey's amazing in it. Andy Davis, as I mentioned, the director of Code of Silence, that was his, he worked a lot with Seagal. He did Seagal's first film, Above the Law, and did Under Siege. I mean, it is a terrific film, but yeah, the stories from behind the scenes, no one enjoyed working with him. And to the point where, the director, Andy Davis, told me that, he kind of worked out that Tommy Lee Jones is on screen more than Seagal. And so you've got literally the villain has more screen time than the hero. And I think they just didn't want to work with him any more than they had to.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. I'd love it if you would check out some of the other interviews on our channel. They're all fascinating and unique trips to the movies with some wonderful, wonderful guests. And if you would like to find out more, do hit us up on our social channels. We are at Trip to Movies Pod. That's at Trip to Movies Pod on all social media with lovely content on there. And you can get in touch with us if you so wish. Thanks again.